This summer, 15 hermits will stop at nothing to collect everything. My name is Pixel Riffs, and this is the Hardcore Hermits Recap.
That was an exceptionally professional introduction.
It seems like only yesterday that Hardcore Hermits Season 1 wrapped up, with Zedaf, Tango, and the Ghost of Impulse taking home the win in style. But hot on its heels comes Hardcore Hermits Season 2, packed with more teams, more points, and more understanding of the rules.
Regen is on this time, okay?
Yeah, we played it right, I guess.
Right.
This time.
So I could punch Zed in the face right now, and there's probably no problem with that. Yeah, okay.
Go for it.
This time, it should probably be called Hardcore Hoarders, because the team's task is to collect every item they possibly can within 9 episodes and deposit them all in an indestructible chest located at the spawn point. Each time a new item is fed to the Chest of Eternal Hunger, the team gains a single point, but any duplicates are spat back out without awarding any additional marks. The submitted items are tracked by the advancement system, and the team's current total is displayed on the screen at all times, so this time hopefully we'll all be less confused about the scores.
Huge, massive thank you to Plagiators for setting up this game, and indeed the Shrine as well. This is some amazing work, dude, so thank you so much.
You did it good. Well done.
3 of the teams you know and love from Season 1 have returned for another shot at the title. Team GFX, made up of False Symmetry, Good Times with Scar, and Azuma Void, were close contenders for last season's title, but a run-in with the Drowned stopped them from reaching the top of the scoreboard. Team Dodgy Jumper returns for a chance at redemption after Wales Knight got blown up early in their Season 1 attempt, while Biffa and Ijevin met their end in the Nether a few episodes later. And as the current reigning champions, Team Zit combines the hardcore experience of Impulse, the technical know-how of Tango, and the raw wit of Zedaf. This triple threat has a reputation to defend, and the stakes have never been higher. Because this season, 2 more teams have stepped into the fray. His NHO brothers may have bowed out of Season 1 kicking and screaming, but Vintage Beef has teamed up with Iskall and Rendog to form Team 2.5 Men. We're not sure if this is a crack at Rendog, yet another joke about Beef having no legs, or just that Iskall is the closest thing Hermitcraft has to Charlie Sheen. But, considering Ren has been collecting a double chest of every item on the Hermitcraft server lately, they're bringing some solid expertise to the competition. Last but not least, our final challengers are Python, Joe Hills, and Zombie Cleo, forming Team PJs. They may be new to the hardcore hermit scene, but they're veterans of the game, and they're bound to have a few tricks up their sleeves. As always, we're going to break this down episode by episode to save any spoilers for towards the end. The chests are getting hungry, so let's start with episode 1.
What do you say? We cease talking, we get on with some action.
Nah, it's fine.
Nah.
Let's go. Let's
Okay,
go.
we're
Go.
done with
The reigning champions, Team Zit, are taking the rules more seriously this time.
I mean, last season we proved that, even with regen, we could win. So
Right.
How about this time we proved that without regen we can lose.
In their wisdom, they take the strategic procrastination approach, deciding to gear up and mine downward before intentionally going for a larger haul of points. Which is why their first episode is spent digging a little, sending Zed to pillage a shipwreck, and building a dirt hut. Yes, seriously.
We got to find out the source of that noise.
I'm going to guess it's a zombie, but it's just me.
And so they wrap up their first episode with some emeralds, some iron, and 33 points to their name. Which is more than one can say about Team GFX, who by the end of their episode 1 has found diamond ore while still not having enough iron for tools. But I suppose that's the benefit of being one with your natural surroundings.
Azuma, you're a turtle. You look just like the turtle.
Oh my god!
Do right for me.
Oh no! Oh, that's a total meme right there.
Since this time it seems Azuma isn't relying on spreadsheets, the team has to come up with an actual strategy. False's bright idea is to gather all sorts of dyes, since they unlock 16 new variants of everything, while Scar's approach is a bit on the sweeter side.
What are you going for?
Cake.
And if you think about it, he has a point. They need to go for the largest amount of items, but the items other teams haven't thought of might mean the difference between victory and defeat. Such as stripped logs and other snapshot exclusives. But Azuma isn't the only one who can bring that snapshot experience to the table. Ijevin is Team Dodgy Jumper's secret weapon. They're back, still casually dressed and poking fun at each other's mishaps from last season.
Yeah.
Don't die.
Yeah, I have a suggestion for you as well. Don't
Don't lose footage.
But banter won't score them points, so they throw a few items into the pot and get down to business, digging a shaft straight down to diamond level, which causes Wells Knight's first near-death experience of the competition.
I just fell far enough that I thought I was going to die in episode 1.
Yeah.
Jevin comes across some diamonds pretty quickly, and unlike the GFX crew, he actually has the tools to collect them.
I'm gonna save 1 ore for when we get Soap Touch.
Speaking of tools, 2/3 of Team 2.5 Men don't seem to need them, as Beef and Iskall run around trying to get everything they can without punching a tree first. Rendog does not approve.
Have you not played UHC recently? You gotta get wood and tools. Why are you punching squids? Can I re-roll my team? Am I gonna carry the series? Is that what's happening here?
But even a full set of tools won't prepare him for spontaneous combustion via zombie.
I'm on fire.
Okay. What?
Unsurprisingly, they decide having a shelter is probably a good idea at this point, so they hollow out a nearby cliff, name it the Manhole, and set up a smelting operation and some fancy automatic doors.
There we go. Look at that. Oh, wait.
It didn't work.
Team PJs spends their episode 1 coming to terms with the overwhelming task of collecting everything ever. And since neither of the 3 was in the previous season of Hardcore Hermits, they also have to deal with the growing pains of 1.13 snapshots.
What the heck is going on here?
Despite being self-confessed noobs in pajamas, they still manage around half 100 points on the first episode, even if it is achieved by just feeding everything they have into the hopper. Still, at one point the team does come to the conclusion that by painting the same blocks different colours, they can pass them off as new ones. So the plan is basically, live to die another day.
Could the subtitle for our series be Prepare to Die? Or should we...
Episode 1 comes to a close, and the organised approach of Team GFX is already topping the scoreboard, but the competition has only just begun, so let's bring on Episode 2.
I put diorite in here and I don't want to talk about it now. I feel dirty.
Returning to the surface after burrowing down for the night, Team Dodgy Jumper makes a run for the nearest jungles and savannas to claim some exciting new wood types and bonus melons. The sapling drop rates are cruel, but one appears when Jevin least expects it.
Oh, I did get a jungle sapling. Oh my god, it's a miracle.
Reuniting at the spawn shrine and claiming a huge rush of points, they decide to split up, and Jevin goes in search of an ice spikes biome, while Biffa hangs out nearby, and Wells Knight makes for the Badlands. Team PJs is pretty much on the same page, with Cleo and Python sailing away to the mesa, while Joe stays at spawn, spitting items into the shrine.
There's so many things of wood you can do.
But not before Cleo pulls an Azuma and finds diamonds without the tools to mine them. Also unfortunate is that their crafting monkey is left borderline catatonic when he is hit with this realization.
One thing I've never quite understood about this game, and that's why you can't make green dye from mixing blue and yellow.
I literally have never thought about that, but now I can't think about anything else.
But not as unfortunate as those poor turtles.
We do not endorse violence against turtles in this.
Die! Die!
Thank God Azuma isn't with them. Speaking of which, Team GFX came to the same conclusion about wood, which is why Azuma has been running around taking the axe to every tree that looks at him funny. After reaching the triple digits by throwing some sugar into the gears, the 3 decide, for the second episode in a row, to brave the night and go mining. Somewhere in the ether, a team of phantoms just assumed the ready position.
The fly screechy things. We gotta watch out for those again.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But despite their efforts, episode 2 still ends with no iron tools or ingots, except for Scar, but we're pretty sure Azuma is suffering from iron withdrawal by now. Team Zit has much better luck on the ore front thanks to Zedaf's amazing hole location abilities.
Falling in this cave was the best thing I ever did for this team.
Still on the gearing up phase of the plan, the reigning champions almost get killed by fall damage, almost get blown up by a creeper, and almost fall into a giant ravine.
Okay.
And by reigning champions here, we of course mean Zedaf. Their mining operations go well, but since the items have to be handed in at spawn, their score doesn't go up a single point throughout the entire episode 2.
This challenge is perfect for me, guys. Have you realized this yet? This challenge is perfect for me. Because I am the hoarder, and we actually get to save everything for once.
The 3 men in Team 2.5 Men emerge from the manhole to do man things. Like the other groups, they decide to split up and gather as much wood as possible to craft all the points, which leads to Iskall finding an acacia village.
I found a village!
And Ren doing this impression of a dying horse.
How do horse... What's the sound when a horse die in this game? I forget.
Oh God, that's horrible.
It's so accurate.
Hanging around the spawn shrine to submit all these tasty new items, Iskall realizes that the command blocks keeping score only seem to award points if you're standing close enough to the input chest.
You need to literally stand here until it counts it. Yeah.
That's not
a bunch of the stuff that you put in, Ren, I just put in again, and we got score for this time.
And that makes us wonder, how many of the other teams have missed points already? Regardless, the points don't lie, and these are the scores at the end of episode 2. Looks like our title defenders Team Zit are aiming to have the biggest comeback ever. Let's see if they get things moving in episode 3.
Fish in the water that you can hit with your sword as well.
See the fish.
See the fish. Be the fish. Feel the fish.
See, I didn't let you down that time.
Sniff the fish.
Fresh out of the ground, the Zits split up to cover more ground and bring in more blocks. Impulse volunteers to go lumberjacking and score those sweet, sweet wooden item points. Tango, meanwhile, takes advantage of this season taking place in the same seed as the previous one and goes to investigate a village that Season 1 viewers will find eerily familiar.
Oh, there's a creeper in the village, in the house.
Creeper in the house!
Oh, someone had to do it, right?
In this timeline, though, he's just interested in stealing their crops and their craps, only to make it back in time to pour both into the Hungry Hungry Hopper before the episode ends. In Team Dodgy Jumper's parallel dimension, Jevin's trip to the Ice Spikes biome is cut short by the realization that they don't have a Silk Touch pick to harvest the packed ice.
That's something I probably should have thought of before I directed you to go over there.
At least he can grab some snow from the nearby mountains and make his way back. Wells Knight stays committed to his trip to the Mesa, and he isn't going to let a brush with death stop him.
That was almost the end right there. Like, if I had not had perfect reactions.
You know, if I hadn't been amazing.
Can you just, like, let me have my moment? Like, I died in episode 2 last time.
Jevin returns to the Spruce Forest and stumbles upon another familiar village, although when the emerald trade comes at a high price, he goes out looking for pork chops and comes back with glory and riches, enough emeralds to make a full block.
Oh my god, jackpot.
Team PJs, in the meantime, is left with only one member scoring any points, since Python and Cleo embark on their epic quest to find all the cool stuff. The cool stuff includes, but is not limited to, a desert temple, a village, a coral reef, and their impending doom, but more on that later. They end up skipping over the coral reef, since Python, dropping some 1.13 knowledge, reminds them that one needs Silk Touch to pick up coral blocks, which is true in a way, but scams the team out of who knows how many bonus points, since dead coral exists, and also coral fans to be gathered with just shears. Unfortunately, when they stop for a quick nap, Joe is a little late getting into bed, and the drowned come out of the ocean to correct him. That's what you get for being too hasty on the All the Beds challenge.
Oh my word!
What? Are you guys...
Oh, get out of the water! That's the most dangerous place to be with the drown.
All the cool stuff might still bite the team in the back, since every golden apple or whatever they find gives them one less inventory slot to fill with terracotta, which they find an entire biome of by the end of the episode.
Oh, yeah, boy. It's me being down with the kids.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're an inspiration to all of us.
I am.
Shenanigans with beds continue with 2.5 men who only have 2.5 beds, and Ren seems to have forgotten how to make one.
Okay. One second. Okay. How do you make a bed?
Our PPE is getting really...
Not to mention later, when Iskall is caught a long way from home while Ren and Beef are sound asleep, a convenient crash happens.
Yeah, I'm
crap, my game seemed to crash.
Oh my goodness.
What?
My game crashed.
Iskall makes up for this transgression by trying to tame a llama for a couple of minutes, only to find that he can't ride it home even with its fancy new rug. But he also takes the route home that passes the coral reef, so you can bet the team will be back to pillage that next time. Team GFX starts episode 3 by watching a turtle die. They already know it doesn't drop anything important, so that wasn't even educational.
This is what happens when people get involved with nature, peeps.
Yeah.
Should have let it run its course.
Beyond that, the team is better off scoring points by just shearing things, since they finally have 2 ingots to put together. In his travels, Azuma stumbles upon an acacia village, but all it does is teach him firsthand what a butt the jungle is to deal with. Other good finds include a shipwreck and a coral reef with its dozens of different kinds of items sitting there just waiting to be cut. But in so many things found, the team is not without a loss, for you don't let a horse you nicknamed Mess of Pixels run around in a horde of other horses that look like a mess of pixels.
It's kind of hard to tell which one it was because I can only see certain parts of it, you know.
And with that, episode 3 comes to a close, and it's time to take a look at the scoreboard. And while GFX is firmly in the lead at this point, there are still 6 more episodes left to play out. If nothing else, at least nobody's been killed by phantoms. Yet. This Hardcore Hermits recap has been a production of the unofficial Hermitcraft recap, edited by me, Pixel Riffs, and co-written by ZloyXP. Don't forget to leave a like on this video, tune in on Sunday for the Hermitcraft recap, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future episodes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.